Welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to take you on a nostalgic journey back to my childhood days and talk about the top 15 Super NES games that defined my childhood. So, if you're a fan of retro gaming, then you won't want to miss this. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. With your support, I can continue to bring you more videos about the games that you love. So, let's get started. Super Mario World. Super Mario World for the SNES was one of the most iconic games of the 90s. For me, it was a magical world full of adventure and exploration. I spent countless hours playing it as a kid, and it was always a great way to escape reality and have some fun. The game was incredibly challenging and rewarding, and it was always a blast to discover new secrets and power-ups. I still fondly remember my time with Super Mario World, and it remains one of my favorite games of all time. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past is one of the most iconic Super Nintendo games of all time. As a kid, I remember spending countless hours exploring the vast and beautiful world of Hyrule, solving puzzles, and fighting off monsters. The game is filled with memorable characters, a captivating story, and a timeless soundtrack that has been remixed and reimagined countless times. It's a classic that will continue to be enjoyed by gamers for generations to come. Super Metroid. Super Metroid, released for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, SNES, in 1994, was an instant classic, and is still regarded as one of the greatest video games of all time. As a kid, I was captivated by its gorgeous graphics, intense action, and captivating story. The game was incredibly immersive, with a huge world to explore and secrets to uncover. It was also incredibly challenging, with tough enemies and puzzles that required a lot of thought and skill to solve. Spending time playing Super Metroid was an unforgettable experience, and I'm sure it still holds up today. Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger is a classic SNES RPG that I spent countless hours playing when I was a kid. The game has an interesting story, great characters, and an epic soundtrack that all come together to create a timeless gaming experience. I highly recommend it for anyone looking for a classic RPG experience. Super Mario RPG: Legend of the Seven Stars. Super Mario RPG: Legend of the Seven Stars was a revolutionary game for its time. It was the first RPG in the Mario franchise, and it combined the classic Mario platforming with RPG elements. As a kid, I was captivated by the vibrant world and characters, the exciting story, and the intense battles. It was a great way to spend hours of my childhood, and it remains one of my favorite games to this day. Super Mario Kart. Super Mario Kart for the SNES was an iconic game that was released in 1992. It was one of the first kart racing games, and it set the standard for the genre. I spent countless hours playing it when I was a kid because of its simple yet engaging gameplay and its colorful graphics. It was a great way to have fun with friends and family, and it still remains a classic to this day. Donkey Kong Country. Donkey Kong Country for the SNES was one of the most iconic games of my childhood. It was a revolutionary game in terms of its graphics, sound, and gameplay. I spent countless hours playing it with my friends, trying to beat each level and collect all the coins. It was a great game to play with friends, and it was always a challenge that kept us coming back for more. Final Fantasy VI, also known as Final Fantasy III in North America. Final Fantasy VI is an iconic classic of the Final Fantasy franchise. It was a revolutionary game for its time, with its incredible story, memorable characters, and beautiful soundtrack. As a kid, I spent countless hours playing this game, and I still remember it fondly. It was a magical experience that I will never forget. Mortal Kombat 2. Mortal Kombat 2 was one of the most iconic fighting games of the 90s, and I remember spending countless hours playing it when I was a kid. It was an incredibly immersive experience, with its fast-paced action, realistic graphics, and iconic characters. The game also featured a unique combo system that allowed for a great deal of strategy and skill. It was a game that I could play for hours and never get bored. Mega Man X. Mega Man X for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System was a classic game I spent countless hours playing as a kid. With its innovative gameplay, challenging levels and bosses, and a captivating story, it was a game that kept me entertained for hours. It was the perfect mix of action and strategy, requiring players to think and plan ahead in order to progress. The music and graphics also added to the overall experience, making it an unforgettable game. Earthbound. Earthbound is an iconic SNES game that I spent countless hours playing as a kid. It's a classic RPG adventure set in a modern-day world with a quirky cast of characters. The game's unique art style and memorable soundtrack make it an unforgettable experience, and the game's writing and humor remain timeless. It's a great game for both newcomers and longtime fans alike. Super Castlevania 4. Super Castlevania 4 was one of the best games of its time and a classic of the SNES era. As a kid, I spent countless hours exploring the dark and mysterious castle, trying to uncover its secrets and defeat the evil Dracula. The game's unique blend of action, exploration, and puzzle-solving made it an absolute joy to play. The detailed graphics, haunting soundtrack, and intense boss battles made it a truly unforgettable experience. Secret of Mana. Secret of Mana is a classic SNES action role-playing game that was released in 1993. As a kid, I was drawn to its vibrant and colorful art style, its epic soundtrack, and its fun and challenging gameplay. I loved the sense of adventure and discovery that it offered, and I spent many hours exploring its vast world. Secret of Mana was a classic that I'll never forget, and I'm sure many others feel the same. Kirby Superstar. Kirby Superstar for the SNES was one of my favorite games to play when I was a kid. It was a fun and colorful platformer game that had a variety of levels, characters, and powers to explore. The game was easy to pick up and learn, and it was incredibly fun to play. The replay value was also high, as you could try out different strategies and levels to get the best score. It was a great way to spend time with friends and family, and I still remember the great memories I had playing it. Star Fox. Star Fox for the SNES is an iconic game that I remember playing as a kid. It was a challenging game that had a unique 3D-like experience on the SNES. I loved the fast-paced action and the intense boss battles. I also enjoyed the unique characters and the interesting storyline. Playing Star Fox was always an enjoyable experience for me, and I'm sure it still stands the test of time today.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to our channel. Your support means a lot to me and helps me create even more content for you to enjoy. Thanks again for watching.